Thank God it's Friday. Well, what you're just about to watch, it may confuse you a little bit because I looked a little younger. Yes, because I'm just about to share Thank God it's Friday 2024. This is a series that every Friday shows you the activities here at Salento with Love, or probably the run around that I take place in my life on a weekly basis with many beautiful things happening. But this is 2024, remember. So whenever you are leaving a comment, remember that we are back in 2024. If you'd like to subscribe to the 2025, well then do that by subscribing to the Thank God it's Friday 2025. And also, when you're visiting Puglia, come stop here by the office and one of these fabulous books will be waiting for you together with a lot of other things. So enjoy Thank God. It's Saturday morning and I've come to see the maestro at work, Carlo. And well, if you're following the project of Lilo house, there are some windows on the mezzanine floor which are round, and only someone with the experience, the know-how and the patience and also the engineering mind could produce what you will see in a few weeks. So every 3 windows they're circular, and each one of them it's just a few millimeters different, so it needs to make the template for each one of them. So fantastic, I mean, incredible the level of work. While Davide in the other room is actually, here we are. Davide, buongiorno. Buongiorno. Sta facendo polvere, eh? So this is actually the windows for Palazzo Bella. So these are the internal doors for Palazzo Bella, and this is the color that has been chosen for the outside. Buongiorno, good morning on a Monday morning on this Thank God it's Friday, and the week has started again. Probably the weekend was a little too short, but it's fine. And I'm here in Mississippi with Love this morning, just seeing the progress of the tiling. Isn't it amazing? We've gone for a very gentle olive green with this beautiful motif that really brings this property into the right period, I would say. Here at Casa Grey this morning, time to tidy up and get rid of tons and tons of rubble that has been produced from creating this very open space look. It's incredible the amount of rubble that gets produced every time this works get started, but also beautiful to see the transformation of the space. So we're here at Palazzo Angelini this morning, but what you're going to see up on the roof, you need sunglasses. But just as I'm coming out, very important as well when you're working with this restoration project and you're working with old buildings, the walls are never going to be straight. It's just the way it is. Nothing is straight. So happy with the progress here. So much work to do, but amazing the opportunity to give strength again and extending the life as well of these buildings. So now 2 massive slabs have arrived, which they're going to be the lids of the towers outside. And they're just discussing how they're going to bring it up. I can see why doing it in one single piece wasn't possible, which is what I wanted. Already cut into 2 pieces is huge. Let's get this day started. And we're here in Mississippi with Love. Beautiful to see that yesterday's work was completed to a super high standard. Just love really this level of detail. I keep saying, if you're following my Thank God it's Friday, you'll probably appreciate this, because workers and tradesmen out there, they always look for the easier way out. And I know that once the job is done, it will look beautiful anyway. But the easier way out is never going to give you the best in terms of what the house or property will look. And in order to actually achieve that level that I do, you really have to make sure that you have a team that understands and follows you through perhaps your insanity. Like in my case, sometimes it's borderline insanity. Casa Grey this morning, progressing well. I think it's really taking shape now. When you go through this first phase, you may feel that you've got everything sorted. You know exactly where everything should be. But what happens is after you go through this first phase is that you start seeing things differently because walls are not there, doors have been closed, doors have been open, and so on. So really always allow yourself after this initial stage a little bit of space to perhaps make those tiny little changes that would allow you to maximize the quality of living that the house is going to give you. So what are we doing here? Well, we sold this property over a year ago and it's exactly as you see it. And before starting the process of refurbishing, there is quite a little bit of tidying up, otherwise it's so hard, it's almost impossible. I know that more rubble will be produced, but impossible to take a site really that is in such a state. So what we're doing today is just with a recycle company, just trying to understand exactly what's going to happen. Qua dentro c'è una pila, ce la teniamo, però tutti sti sacchetti, ste cose, buttiamo tutto via. Queste ce la teniamo, queste qui stanno tutti belli sistemati così, ce li teniamo. Questo invece qua buttiamo tutto, magari ci teniamo solamente sti pezzi dell'arco, li poggiamo là. Qua dietro puliamo, cacciamo sto cumulo qua, lo portiamo a livello. Si attaccano meglio. Toccava le bagni, no?
Ma era diversa proprio la piastrella di cottura, un biscotto di così che assorbe.
Sì.
Quindi per forza toccava la bagni. Mentre vista la puoi giocare sull'acqua, sempre vita, non assorbe mai niente.
La cementina se la metti a bagno nell'acqua si incolla meglio, no?
A voglia.
E la cemento, no?
Molto meglio sono cose, sì. Lavoriamo sempre, vai.
Come fanno gli italiani? Anyway, this is only part of the team.
Yeah, we love it here. Fantastic.
Alright, guys, have a good afternoon.
Ciao.
I'm leaving. Sto andando al Palazzo Angelini adesso. Ciao. Well, just leaving the office, but at least I've managed to do so much clearing my emails, having calls with clients, and yeah, spent a few hours here. I love seeing my team so tuned and happy. It makes me really happy to see them. I think it's probably, a lot of people say, Davide, you work a lot, but I think the secret of success, I've always found this through the years that I've been doing things, including the YouTube, you know, if it wasn't for Ludovica doing these wonderful videos. And I think make sure in life that you surround yourself with skills and ability that you don't have, or that if you do have them, they're better than you, and that will guarantee you a successful growth. Anyway, Kyra's here. Let's go now. Going to Palazzo Angelini now to meet up a crew that needs to level all of the ground floor, which is a challenge.
Quindi poi del dry ci facci, te ne vai a, cioè del dry scendi o per baci 3 cm, perché butti alzi intorno a 3 cm lì. Già teniamo legge da qua e in eccesso.
Su tanti.
3 cm con la macchina arriva cloc cloc. Non è niente.
Now it's really taking shape. But before we tile the walls upstairs, it's like it's always step backwards, step forward, and that's why you really need to have a team on your side. So let me explain in a quiet area what's happening in there, because you're thinking that bathroom was almost finished. Why are they breaking things up? Well, because when the toilet and the bidet fittings were installed, we didn't know really that we were going to end up with a little step into the bathroom. So we've actually created a little step in order to allow for the flow to happen in the shower.
Quindi ci metto 5, 6, 6, 5, 11, 12, 12, 12 e 6, 18. 18 per 10, 180 per strada.
So the amount of work that needs to be done to achieve this final finish when you want to have the stone exposed, it's quite intense. So at the moment I'd say that this is almost now coming to the end, but before leaving it, to stop the dust that gets produced by the stone being exposed, it needs to be treated. And in this particular case, treating it with one of the best materials that you can find. This is one of those areas where sometimes tradesmen trying to save a little bit by using poor quality material, but then you have issues later. So just make sure that when somebody's using materials, they're using materials that can actually guarantee you longevity. We're here, like I said, I would say we're almost there. Carlo, done a fantastic job. Grazie.
Cioè, esatto, poi sono disse, se sì, ma disse, se non era che era pure io italiano, disse te pari come a te, dice quello che arriva con tutta sta roba.
La battuta finale, vero, disse, ma... disse...
Me ricordi?
Oh no, me la ricordo. No, vero, disse, ma... dice, ma sei italiano? Dice, sì, dice, sono italiano. Dice, ah, pure tu sei italiano? Dice, sì, sono italiano. Dice, allora, se siamo italiani, perché stiamo parlando in inglese?
Ah, sì, sì, sì.
So we're here at Palazzo Bella now, this morning, and this just needed to be done. They cladded the steps with this graniglia, but inside the graniglia you have all the metal running through. Same situation as usual, the metal rusts, it expands, it cracks, leaving us really with not choice but to remove those and then replace it with something else. This is a job that potentially could have been done before, but me being a little bit of a dreamer, I thought that probably something could be saved. But well, and after a lunch with my parents and a short motorbike ride, I'm at one of the most beautiful places. Remember, you're only going to see the developments of this property through the Thank God It's Friday. So if you subscribe to the Thank God It's Friday and you are patient enough to follow it through the year, then you'll see the developments of this beautiful corner property. Gallipoli in the background, as you can see over there, the 4 columns. I'm counting the days of when I'm going to be able to enjoy living in the proximity or right opposite the water. Anyway, let's go upstairs and see what's happening on the building site. Actually, on that note, I've been working here since Thursday. And I've been so busy that I haven't had a chance to come and check on my own site, where I've probably have been 4 or 5, 6 times on different sites of the same client. So yeah, I do take good care of everyone, and when it comes to my things, I know what's happening, so I'm pretty chilled. Buongiorno maestri, si può?
Buongiorno.
Riesco a passare?
Aspetta, Riyad! Fermo! Vai, passa.
Grazie. We're moving the electricity meter, which at the moment it's right in the middle of the room. Riyad, hey, see the meter is there. at the moment. So special application needs to go into the grid company. You can't just move the meter. And so it takes at least 2 months to get this to happen, and you pay something around about 300 euros, and plus you need to provide everything. So when they come, all they do, they'll just put the cable going from the main post outside onto your meter, but you've got to get everything ready for them in order to do that. So that's what's happening now. This morning I start my day at Corso d'Italia. Well, you may remember this beautiful, amazing property. Now it's lived, so I'm not going to film anything inside, but I'm going on the roof because we're still doing some elements up there. Wow, always that feeling coming upstairs or coming into a property that you've been involved for over a year. And here we're actually building a sitting area. So as you're coming up the stairs, you've got this beautiful covered area, and then that will be all rendered and painted white with cushions. A beautiful passage through here, very comfortable, and then a fantastic sitting area.
Allora sto facendo un rinforzo centrale e poi copro tutto, lascio tutto copro.
Sì, ed è pure più leggero.
Sì, ed è pure più leggero. Io faccio tutto questo, poi posiziono tutto e comincio già a intonare.
So yeah, Ludovica just phoned me a while earlier to do an opening and closing for episode 2 of La Casetta, so I hope you've enjoyed that, and it's definitely a nice little project. But I've just turned up here at Palazzo Angelini, so for all of you watching Thank God It's Friday or Palazzo Angelini, it's nice to see the progress. Look at this amazing, I know that you're seeing a little lines because of the LED strip, but look at the choice here of leaving just that part of the shape with this patina exposed. Absolutely amazing. Daniele, non è che mi fai una ripresa bella vicina lenta lenta di quel soffitto, no? Grazie Daniele. This is real copper. It's beautiful copper because it tarnishes, so after a period of months you have that beautiful black patina. I mean, people stop using copper for 2 reasons. One, because of the cost. It's probably 10 times more than using plastic or other fake type of tins, which they do what they're supposed to do at the end of the day. So don't get me wrong, but if you can and you are working on a building that is so ancient and beautiful, then, well, why don't push that little boundary a little more? And that's exactly what's happening here. And the other reason why people stopped using copper, especially on the outside, is because was getting stolen because of the high value of copper. For that reason, was causing a lot of frustration. This is all over. I mean, it was happening in England. It was happening in many different places. People that steal metal, even wires. You probably heard that, electrical wires in certain parts of the world because of the cost of copper. So that's the other reason why copper was stopped. At Mississippi with love just now. Tyler is just leaving right this moment. It's been a eventful day. So first of all, this area here, the ledge has been fitted. It's actually still very soft, so beautiful. The ledge meeting this graniglia tiles. Oh, wow, I love it. Ha! I'm so excited, so I'll be going there in about half an hour when I finish checking what has been done here, and it's nice to see the progress on these sites. Mississippi with love coming together at an amazing, extraordinary, beautiful level. So let's close this. Put the bucket here that the tilers have left as a security. Sometimes cats and other animals, but mainly cats, going in and creating a mess. So we are at Palazzo Bella and just starting to set up how the cementina floor needs to be laid down. So very important at the moment to do what these guys are doing, just hours and hours of setting up before starting tiling, putting the first tile. Once the first tile goes down, then we just move.
Abbiamo deciso allora, rombi, tutto stabilito, tutto perfetto.
It's amazing that these guys arguing about different theories about how the cementina should be applied. Between the two of them, they have about 60 years of experience. One of them said a phrase that made me laugh. He said, even if Jesus will come down, he would say that that is the way it should be fitted. So anyway, it was a good laugh. I'm leaving, I've got a Zoom call in 20 minutes and I better get on my motorbike. Fantastic. Palazzo Bella.
Allora, quando passavo con Salim, che tenevano un limmo grande, si rompia cristiani e non illuminavano. Allora c'era uno che teneva una specie di trapano, diciamo noi. Teneva una cosa rotonda, a punta da cosa rotonda c'era come un chiodo. E allora poi c'era attaccato un arco così, e teneva a mezzo da questa cosa, anche andava a scendere e faceva i buchi a questo limmo. Dopo faceva questi buchi con lo ferro filato, lo infilava da un lato e dall'altro, lo spartiva e poi li faceva con lo cemento. Il limmo funzionava attorno, lo potevano usare.
Can't believe it. Just arrived in Lecce with my motorbike. What a lovely morning. Hey, yes, I was just about to say, I can't believe it's Friday. Where is the week gone? Just arrived in Lecce. Plumbers have been on site here working in this property that you probably have seen in some of the other videos of Thank God It's Friday. And I say that Salento is one of the most beautiful places in Italy, and Lecce one of the most extraordinary and gentrified city. I do mean it. I hope you can feel it through the videos. I must say, probably YouTube has got a lot of responsibilities in a good way. When I think of the number of foreigners that have discovered this part of the world, which it was a little bit of forgotten. You know, tourists normally they'll stop in Rome, they may go to the Amalfi Coast, but they wouldn't push down to south of Italy, sometimes Sicily or Puglia. And now I'm walking around and all I can hear is people speaking in English and French and German. So it's a good sign. And in a way, it's incredible because a lot of the people that have been watching my channel for the last few years, they've booked flights and they've come over to discover the area. Maybe not to buy a property, but just to explore, because not everyone wants to or needs to buy a property. So I love the fact that I've been also responsible for getting people down here and discovering. Oh, actually, I've just arrived almost, but this place, if you come to Lecce, I know you come to Italy for Italian food, but I tell you, Mexican food there, absolutely amazing. The owner is from Mexico City and she's very good and the food is fantastic. Right, let's go in. What a beautiful courtyard. Well, first of all, there's 3 houses in this courtyard. One by a lady upstairs, which is Rosella, and the other one hardly used, but one of the main groups in Italy, musical groups, which is called Negramaro. Yes, I know, anyone who loves wine will think of the wine Negramaro, but that's what the group is called. And the apartment up there. And you watching this video on this one here, it's just about to go in. Buongiorno, eccoli tutti all'opera stamattina. So I've just popped out from the building site to get coffees and pasticciotto for the workers. You don't come to Lecce and you don't have a pasticciotto. But yeah, just watching the guys in there in the bar, and what I was just saying earlier in the video, amazing. People coming in, speaking in French, English. There's hardly anyone speaking Italian. But anyway, it's just wonderful because it's still a very, very Italian part of the world. But we are in the Centro Storico, very picturesque, so it's normal to see all these foreign faces. Well, this was a dental surgery which closed down about 15 years ago, so it's been closed and locked up for about 15 years. We are now at Palazzo Bella, and the tiling of the upstairs floor started. Well, you saw how beautiful this ground floor was tiled with this amazing 120 square. We're upstairs now, the Cementine world. Mi sembra spettacolare, meraviglioso. And it's a beautiful Friday. As usual on a Friday I've managed to have lunch with my parents, which I think is always a blessing. A bit annoying sometimes, you know, my God, it doesn't matter if you're a child or if you're 50 more years old, they still treat you like a child, but I think that's a parent thing. I was just wondering, one of the recurring questions that I do get on my YouTube channel is, how much does it cost to refurbish? I think many of you watching this channel, probably part of this group, probably have a very good idea of the cost. But I would say use the parameter that you have back home if you are in Europe, if you are in the United States, if you are in Australia, and move away from the idea that in Italy or in south of Italy, cost of certain things are a lot cheaper. I would say that labor could potentially be cheaper, but the cost of materials, I think, all over the world, they're very similar because of the raw materials, which is metal, plastic. And so when you're thinking of what it would cost to do something, I would say always work on the budget of what you will be spending at home. But that removes the idea that you can tackle a refurbishment with a budget that is almost inexistent to achieve an incredible result. So very important to have this in mind. Now, we're talking about refurbishment, but in terms of the quality of life and the quality of living, well, I guess your money here in certain parts of Europe, including this area, it will go a further distance in comparison to different parts like the UK, Canada, Australia, the United States. So although you will be spending a considerable amount of money refurbishing or restoring a property to a really high standard, once you have done that, your cost of living, your quality of life here will be much better in comparison to what you get in different parts of the world. So I think that's probably my little thought of the week here at Thank God It's Friday. We are at La Casetta, and just a couple of little touches here. The copper pipe drain has been fitted, looks absolutely stunning. Comes round to the side and down, and then as you can see, goes down all the way down to the ground.
So tell us how to do it. We'll do it right now. Yeah.
You can't do it on the phone.
Oh, you have to do it on our computer.
Yeah.
You can only do it after you had a couple of glasses of wine and a few beers, and that's the way of wrapping up.
I'm about ready to go then.
That's the way you wrap up a week, really. So I've got my Peroni ready.
Cheers,
it's been a fantastic week.
Yes, it has.
I'm surrounded by amazing people. So we're wrapping up the week. So we'll leave it at this. Everyone has difficulties of joining the Thank God It's Friday. So, well, if you're watching this, means that you didn't have a difficulty because you are part of the group. And probably by then, all of these beautiful people will be part of the group.
Yeah, well, I'm part of the group, but my technological skills are like that Fred Flintstone. Okay, so really, you know.
So we'll leave it at that. We'll get on with the
here.
beers. Thank you very much for
Thank God
anyone
it's
who
Friday.
has joined the Thank God It's Friday.
Yes.
And until next week comes along, I'm sure you have enjoyed this episode of Thank God It's Friday and the incredible activities that have taken place during this week, including drinking with Mark here in the square, Laurie, Andrea, Teresa. Thank you very much to everybody, and I'll see you next week. I was that. Yeah, I looked younger. Different hairstyle as well. Subscribe to 2025, and I'll see you every week on a Friday. Stay safe wherever you are.